Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Ahead on Prime Time, the number of COVID-19 cases on Guam jumps to 449. Plus, with a surge in positive cases, the government's isolation facility is near capacity. And the man who raped and murdered 15-year-old Tamika Nauta is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And good evening, everyone. We start with more news of another jump in COVID-confirmed cases and the shutdown of Simon Sanchez High School due to a positive infection. The Joint Information Center says GDOE notified them that an employee tested positive and they're working with public health to conduct contact tracing. Sanchez will remain closed for the rest of the week, but according to the JIC, it is expected to reopen by the first day of classes on Monday. Meanwhile, the JIC reports 15 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed today. That's out of 620 test samples. Of the 15, 4 cases were identified through contact tracing. 2 reported recent travel from the continental U.S. and were identified in a quarantine facility. There have been 449 confirmed COVID-19 cases, with 5 deaths, 341 released from isolation, 7 hospitalized, and 103 active cases. Governor Leon Guerrero says she's feeling much better now, but continues to self-isolate. She tested positive over the weekend for COVID-19, and in a video released through social media today said the first couple of days were miserable. The governor said she could have been hospitalized at one point, but that the virus is now in its mild stage as she continues to work from home.
As you know, we have been seeing increased positive cases. This is something that we had expected because we have a very robust contact tracing team. We have a very robust investigative team. And what that does is when they identify a positive, they then identify close contacts of that positive and isolate them and take them out of exposure.
The governor says the island will remain in the current P-Core 3, although restrictions on funeral homes and bars will remain in effect.
What we're seeing also in positive cases is what I think has happened 2 weeks ago, and that is traces that go back to funerals and traces that go back to bars. With the restrictions of prohibiting bars and closing bars and putting more stringent requirements of funerals, we will see what that result is in the next 2 weeks.
She says she's confident the numbers will go down, but that, quote, we're not out of the woods just yet. Be sure to tune into the Link multimedia show with Bree and Chris tomorrow morning. The governor will be a guest at 8 a.m. With a surge in COVID-19 infections, the government's isolation facility at Days Inn is reaching capacity. According to Public Health's latest situation report, there are a total of 38 positive cases at the Tamuning Hotel. Guam Memorial Hospital Administrator Lillian Posada says the capacity at Days Inn is 40 plus or up to 50. She adds they're ramping up efforts to open the COVID isolation facility, or CIF, at the skilled nursing facility in Barragata Heights. But there's a problem with the permanent repair of a chiller unit.
We can get that finalized to award the bidder that proposed, the most qualified and the least expensive for them to then get that chiller where it's at right now, get it transported and installed and commissioned to operate, to run.
Posadas is hoping to have the chiller fixed by the end of the month. Meanwhile, we're waiting on word from Adelup about a contract for another government isolation facility. They've tested employees, and now the Department of Corrections is making moves to test the prison population. DOC Major Anton Uggan.
We are working on the final plans to test the inmates, all the 600 plus inmates and detainees, both in Manila and Agana. So we're working on that to finalize it. Probably by this week they'll be tested. We have some public health nurses coming in today for a site visit just to look at the outlay and work with our the management as far as the flow. And so we're hoping to have that done soon.
Almost 200 DOC staffers were tested at the end of July and all returned negative results. DOC is looking to acquire rapid test kits in the future to test arrestees to ensure no one coming in is infected with the virus. And while the Education Department says it's ready to accept students on August 17th, Superintendent John Fernandez says that final discussions are underway with food services contractor Sodexo to determine how best to restart the Grab and Go program.
One of the ideas that we're looking at right now is to use the Fridays, which are not a school day under this alternating schedule, to do distribution while the teachers are, focusing on their parent and student interventions. We would, look at opening up for a couple of hours in every school and being able to distribute bags of non-perishable food items to our families, and that's kind of what we're is on the table right now.
Fernandez says they're not sure if they'll be able to provide the full number of meals during the first week of school, but hopes to finalize the food distribution plan by September. In the Superior Court, Brandon Acosta will spend the rest of his life in prison for the 2018 rape and murder of 15-year-old Tamika Nauta. Judge Vern Perez sentenced Acosta to life without the possibility of parole. The case was prosecuted by Assistant Attorney General Lenny Rapadas.
Of course, we were making an argument for 4 consecutive life sentences, but it's a statement we wanted to make to tell the court that this was a very serious issue. But again, based on what the judge said, the defendant's not going to be leaving DOC alive, and we feel that justice was served. Justice was served for the family, and they can, move on to the extent they can.
During the sentencing hearing, there was a motion by Acosta's attorney William Pohl for a new trial, but it was denied. Attorney Pohl, however, plans to take the court case to appeal.
Obviously, we plan to appeal. The motion was to help clarify some of the issues on appeal. And sentencing was within guidelines. I think we'll have to review it, but as I have always indicated, the difficulty with this case is the maximum and the minimum are the same, so that there wasn't a lot of room for the court.
In addition to life without parole, Acosta was sentenced to an additional 45 years in prison. Despite the defense's numerous attempts to have the case dropped completely, Mark Torrey Jr. returns before a jury trial for the second time with his attorney Jay Arreola. Torrey is accused of the 2015 fatal shooting of fellow police officer Albert Piolo. In 2019, a jury found him guilty for the homicide. However, a decision by the higher court vacated the case. Now in the government's second try, Torrey faces negligent homicide and aggravated assault charges. Opening statements began this morning. However, due to the judiciary's lack of media accessibility, a last-minute change in the court order denied video recording, photography, and any electronic devices in the courtroom. Due to COVID-19, the trial is being held across the street at the San Ramon building. Once reporters were allowed access, the first government witness was called to the stand. That was Bert's widow, Mika Piolo. In her testimony, Mika detailed what she remembered on the night of July 12, 2015. That was the last time she ever heard from her husband. When asked by Chief Prosecutor Basil O'Malley if she knows why Bert never came home that night, she responded with, "Now I do, but not at that time." Trial continues tomorrow morning. A violation hearing has been set for August 25th for drug defendant Brandon Chandler. Chandler was arrested during a police drug raid last month at his Mongmong home. He faces various felony drug possession charges, possession of a firearm without a firearms ID card, and violation of a court order as a misdemeanor. In a hearing today before Judge Anita Sacola, it was disclosed that Chandler has a previous 2019 case that had the potential to be expunged, but now this new case would be his third violation. Chandler's attorney in the previous cases, William Pohl, told the court his client has only been magistrated for the new case. Arraignment has been set for August 19th. And debate continued on the FY 2021 budget bill, with senators going over it page by page. As of late this afternoon, they were still poring over the special revenue provisions. Earlier, Senator Therese Terlahi asked about the CARES Act funding as a source to be used to pay for the 25% matching funds called for in President Trump's proposed $400 unemployment assistance extension. Administration Director Edward Byrne.
All the money that is available is budgeted. So that would have to be rebudgeted if that was the intent to pay that amount of money. But it's such a large proportion of the total CARES Act money, and I don't think we're alone in that, having that issue. And indeed, those states that have spent a much higher proportion of their CARES Act money, probably in support of their own unemployment funds, are going to have the same problem. So the short answer is no, there's not money.
The president's executive order would require an estimated $40 million in local matching funds. The budget debate continues at the legislature tomorrow morning. Presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden has made his vice presidential pick. It's California Senator Kamala Harris. This afternoon, he made the reveal to supporters and on social media. Natalie Brand has details from the White House.
Joe Biden has made it official. He's picked Kamala Harris to be his running mate. She is only the third woman and the first black woman to be on a major party's presidential ticket. The California senator has known Biden for years after striking up a friendship with his late son, Beau. Harris was considered a front-runner when she launched her own bid for the Democratic nomination and went after Biden during a primary debate last summer.
You also worked with them to oppose busing. And you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
That was the high point for her presidential campaign. As a former prosecutor, Harris failed to win over progressives who criticized her record of failing to intervene in cases involving killings by police. Biden had promised to pick a female running mate, and he put together a list of 13 candidates that his campaign vetted before he made his decision. He interviewed his top choices in person and remotely and has said his #1 criteria would be that from day one, his VP had to be ready to become president. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The news continues right after this break.
This is a bag, but for Steve, this bag gives him food cred. Because now everyone knows that when they have that craving, or they're just looking for the perfect deal, well, they just need to follow Steve.
Follow him all the way to the new McTerry Deluxe at McDonald's. It's an all-beef patty smothered with teriyaki sauce topped with lettuce and tomato on a sesame seed bun. For a limited time, price and participation may vary.
While we've all been through a lot over the years, typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19, we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years, Travelers Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
I was superintendent of education for many years, and he was president of the University of Guam for a decade.
Together, we worked hard to extend opportunities from the youngest of our children to senior researchers at the University of Guam.
We understood that public service and the economy begins with education and returns to it time and time again.
But we're also partners in life, bringing together 8 children of diverse backgrounds, 14 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild.
I was born in Iloilo in the Philippines, and he was born in Tamuning, bringing together another combination of experiences which enrich our lives and our island home.
When we say, Si Jules Maasi,
and Maraming Salamat po,
it is because we have been saying it all of our lives, not just during a campaign. I'm Robert Underwood, and I approve this message.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. In regional news, there was passionate testimony at a Sinamay House Committee on Federal and Foreign Affairs meeting yesterday. Members of the public supporting a resolution asking Governor Ralph Torres to oppose what they believe is a destructive military presence. Tomas Manglonia reports.
One step forward, two steps back is exactly what the military wants us to see.
Just days after the Navy released its record of decision for increased activity in the Mariana Islands training and testing area, the public on Saipan raising more alarms. At a House Committee on Federal and Foreign Affairs meeting, lawmakers heard comment in House Joint Resolution 21-8, requesting the administration to oppose increased destructive military presence. Residents point out harm to the environment in the region's history.
We've already sacrificed our lands during World War II. Why are we giving it up again? So I do accept this resolution to go on.
Another resident in support of the resolution says promises of economic prosperity were broken before.
Similarly, this was promised when we traded 2/3 of Tinian for U.S. citizenship. My grandmother's from the island of Tinian, and she and her peers made that decision, and because they were promised schools, they were promised hospitals, none of which materialized. Instead, we were left with broken bombing ranges that still have ordnance.
One native environmentalist says increased activity in the region puts too much on the line for the next generation.
When I go to Tinian, I run out of places to take them. I run out of conservation areas. I try to take them to a place called Unay Chigit, which I heard is fenced off right now because it hasn't been cleaned off of its waste. You know, these are places that we need to take our children to.
Discussion turned into a debate when one comment called for facts and not feelings.
It's also good to learn what worked, how it's been beneficial, because to me, if you have that information, you can make the best decision. I don't know if that's the best decision for the Sinamay.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Tomas Manglonia.
Higher education takes its turn in phasing a reopening amid COVID-19. Once again, our Tomas Manglonia reports on how UOG and GCC are braving the pandemic.
Class is back in session at Guam Community College in these pandemic times. It's also proving to be an innovative time using a panel of mobile applications.
Students that have to get their student IDs, there is an app that the college is using called QIN. And QIN allows people to sign up and get in the queue so that when the capacity for the facility has been reached, that they are notified electronically.
It's all a part of intricate reopening plans.
I think we're almost up to about 50% of the classes that are currently being conducted online. So that means in terms of, face-to-face, we do still have, because, we have courses like culinary, we have courses automotive and construction.
She says they've ordered 100 laptops with CARES funds to increase access. UOG is taking similar action with convocation next Tuesday.
For about 3/4 of our classes will be entirely online, and then about 16% will be a hybrid, and then the remaining bit will be face-to-face. And a lot of those are things like the laboratories.
Though access to a stable connection remains an issue.
We have still some students who are really accessing everything by their smartphones, which isn't ideal. We've also set up, I think, 11 so-called green zones around the campus so people can come in and get access to our good Wi-Fi. We're setting up more parking lot areas with stronger Wi-Fi.
They stand ready for a school year that virtually changes every day. For Guam's News Network, I'm Tomas Manglonia.
The Guam Regional Transit Authority is getting $9.5 million for new electric buses and a new park and ride facility in Dededo. The grant from the Federal Transit Administration is meant to improve the safety and reliability of the bus system and enhance mobility for riders. In a news release, Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao said the Trump administration is committed to rebuilding the nation's transportation infrastructure even through this current COVID-19 crisis. DOT will be releasing a total of $464 million in federal grants nationwide. And tomorrow morning on The Link, we already mentioned that the governor will be there at 8 a.m. and we will continue with our Decision 2020 interviews, including joining Chris and Bree, our Democrats Gilbert Uggan, John Tyron, Stephen Cruz, Julie Cruz, Anthony Chargaloff, and Kenneth Montanonia. The election portion of the show is from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on The Breeze 93.9 FM. Coming up, one doctor shares his experience after testing positive for COVID-19. This is KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
Our biggest SUV, the Palisade, and our smallest SUV, the Venue. Remember, it's not the size of the dog in your adventure, but the size of the adventure in your dog. Big or small, it's better in a Hyundai SUV.
Taco Bell's new grilled cheese burrito is filled with nacho cheese sauce and a delicious 3-cheese blend. And even more melty cheese is grilled on top. Introducing Taco Bell's grilled cheese burrito box. Order ahead and pick yours up at our contactless drive-thru.
That's when Lil' Mama came through stealing looks. Whoa, she off the rate scale, she had me shook. Yeah, but if you single tonight and can't find your friends, then I hope you don't mind me asking. Do you wanna dance to the music? Do you wanna rock to the beat of the drum? And we could cut it up, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. Baby, we should cut her up.
My child, Econo, listen. The winds are singing. The ocean is roaring. And the trees are dancing. Our island is moving once again. In Afamolic, our unity has carried us through the stillness of today. And now, the spirit of half a day is yearning for our friends to come home.
Nana, is it time to bring all our friends back now?
Hungen, yes. It's time for the world to give us a moment together.
Welcome back. This morning, Chris Barnett spoke with pediatrician Dr. Michael who shared his experience of testing positive.
Just take it away, take us from the moment of exposure to where we're at now, which it looks pretty good, you sitting outside.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So I was exposed Tuesday night. It was a small gathering at a friend's place. You know, nobody was wearing masks, but nobody was symptomatic either. And then Thursday, I found out that one of our friends at that evening tested positive, and so then like, oh, now I have a confirmed exposure. So I actually went straight to GMH, got tested through Employee Health, since I'm still a hospitalist there, and I tested negative. So at that point, up until Thursday morning, I did not have COVID. Virus probably incubating, but not enough to cause any illness, nothing that could spread to anybody. So my initial plan was, I was probably I wasn't wearing a mask, but it wasn't like we were like hugging or giving high fives or anything. And I was probably 4 or 5 feet away from the guy all night for a few hours. So I figured I'll just wait it out, probably retest myself after 5-6 days to give the virus time to incubate. And if I test negative, well, then I'm negative. But then, of course, so I was feeling really good about Friday, still nothing. Saturday, all day, nothing. And then toward the evening, started feeling a little bit of body aches. And then the chill started. And that's pretty much what I've been having, body aches and chills. So, Saturday night through Sunday night, so that would have been day one for me. That's pretty much what it was. And all I needed was a little bit of Advil, but it was pretty uncomfortable. I don't know if you've ever had true flu before. I've had true flu once in my life, and that was miserable. I couldn't get out of bed for 5 days. So it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as that, but it definitely wasn't comfortable. And then last night, really suddenly, my sense of taste and smell just kind of dropped out at around 10 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, I had a piece of fruit, could taste the grapefruit really easily. It was delicious. A couple hours later, couldn't taste anything. So that's where I'm at now. I've been getting lots of messages from, friends, patients, people in the community who've been really touched by all that. And as of right now, thankfully my symptoms aren't too bad. I've been, it's because I isolate myself so early, even at home, I, made the contact tracing for public health much easier. And of course, I advise all my friends who were there that night, and they've been doing the same thing. So we've all been trying to be responsible now that this happened.
Doc, how would you describe your symptoms? Would you say they're, low to moderate?
Yeah, I would say, what I hope is the worst. So like Saturday night through Sunday night, it was annoying. I couldn't sleep very well. Kept waking up because of these chills and like low grade temperatures that came through. I never felt like I was burning up. The aches, it was annoying. Not terrible. One thing I like to do when I get sick and this is for any viral illness that I tried doing since my years of being a pediatrician. After I feel like I'm starting to get sick, before I feel like I'm getting really sick, I like to do like a moderately intense workout to try to increase my my temperature. Because fever, our body makes the fever to try to kill off the virus. I haven't really seen any papers on this. There are some papers that show like moderate intensity exercise helps boost up the immune system, but nothing about whether jacking up your body temp will kill off the virus any faster. But it's something I like to do. So I did that on Sunday, but I think it kind of backfired on me because I did one of the workouts was an ab workout, and now I was like, oh, my abs sore because of COVID, or is it because of the workout? I think it's for the workout though. Most of my body aches are peripheral.
For the full interview, you can head over to the KUAM News YouTube channel. Stick around. Your Cold Stone Creamery birthday shout-outs are coming right up.
When you want to make the most of your time, waiting in line should be last on your mind. Introducing Skip Lino, the most convenient way to visit Docomo Pacific. Simply download the Skip Lino app on your device, set your region to Guam or Northern Mariana Islands, find Docomo Pacific, and select the location you'd like to visit. Spend less time in line and more time with the people who matter most with the Skip Lino app. Can't wait to see you soon. Docomo Pacific, better together.
MTO Maintenance will now completely sanitize your home, office, or business with state-of-the-art commercial sprayers. For over 30 years, MTO Maintenance has been committed to the health and safety of our customers. And now, more than ever, a clean home, office, carpets, and furniture is a necessity to our island. Give us a call today. Stay healthy and stay safe, Guam.
Call 647-6861 for an appointment.
Small businesses are an important foundation in our island's growing economy. They provide essential goods and services to our community while preserving local traditions and creating new job opportunities. Your responses to the 2020 Census of Guam will help small businesses receive the information they need to thrive for years to come. Respond today. Together, we can make a difference.
And as always, before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Okay, everybody, August 12th is a great day to have a happy birthday. So that's exactly what we're saying to Frank Flores. Happy birthday, Nino and Uncle Frank. We love you, says your adoring and appreciative family. Patrick Roman, happy birthday. PJ, enjoy your special day. We love you from your kids, Jana, Mom, and the family. Happy birthday number 13 to Alexandra Tardif. To our little lion, may this year hold many blessings and growth. We love you very, very, very much. 3 veries means they're for serious. Love Mom, Dad, and Ambelina. And happy birthday number 1 to Taylin Kitagwa, to our one and only. God bless you on your very special day, the day He created you, from your entire loving family, and Papa Frank too, watching you in heaven. Those are great birthday shout-outs. Good job, everybody. And if it's your birthday today, today's your special day, so have a good one.
And you can register for the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club online on KUAM.com. That's our report for tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe out there.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Half a day, everyone. Nestor Lecanto here with another edition of In Full Zoom. And I'm pleased